Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another video. And today I am bringing you what I've promised for weeks and weeks, and that is going to be the office makeover. I'm very excited to share the way that I transitioned my office today. We're going to talk a little bit about the intro that you saw before I started to speak to you to let you know it was coming. And I'm also going to break down how I transition this room into what you see behind me. So I'm very excited about this, you guys. Get your beverage and get comfortable because I will be gabbing a little bit in this video because I don't do decorating very often, and I just kind of want to share with you how I sort of brainstormed the idea and tried to figure out what exactly I wanted to do. So editor, roll the tape, get comfortable. Cheers, you guys, and let's go ahead and get into today's office makeover for 2026. Welcome back, everyone, to today's video. I'm very excited about this one. This is my office makeover I've been promising you guys for weeks now. I want to go ahead and showcase my vintage t-shirt from TEMU, of course. This is my Alice in Wonderland t-shirt. I'm very excited about it. I love it. To be honest, I bought it last year. Love the fabric. Now it's not tucked in because this is pretty long. This one goes all the way down, if you will. So you can tuck it in. You know, there's ways to use it. You can knot it up if you want. To me, I just struggle. Sometimes I never know really how to wear graphic t-shirts properly, if you know what I'm saying. But Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorites. I love it, love it, love it. And this particular design was one that just caught me. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Christina, and hello, I am Christina from Scratch, and I'm going to bring you all the online clearance, savings, deals, steals, and reels of maximizing your dollar. So I hope you stick around if this is the first time you're seeing my video. Now, we're going to do office decorating on this channel. This is my office decorating makeover for spring and summer 2026. I don't do decorating very often on this channel. Most of what you're going to see on my channel, if you guys haven't already realized that, is I do a lot of sit-down hauls. So I go and I, find inexpensive items, and I shop with purpose and intention here. I am not monetized on YouTube yet, but so everything I share with you comes out of my own pocket. And you already know, if we're spending our own money, girl, we are going to get our maximum experience, right? So a lot of what you see that I buy and I share is from my own, my own money. So I like to shop with purpose and intention, and I use everything I buy. When we moved into this house, it had a loft area, and that was the very first time I've ever been able to play with a space like that. When we got here, it was spring 2025, and I knew I wanted to transition this loft into something, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I played with bringing the furniture up here at first, because it's stark white. Everything in here is stark white, as you can see. Now you're seeing the outcome of the background now, and we'll get to that in just a second. But we're going to talk about how where we started to now where we are. So I knew when I did the office for winter and fall that I wanted to have some baseline colors. And so the reason why I said that is because I wanted sort of the foundational stuff that I knew I wouldn't get bored with, but I wanted something that was I could work with, that I could reuse, and I could just play with it, And I knew I wanted to do it in like a cottagecore style, if you will. If you guys are not aware of cottagecore, you can look up dark cottagecore on Pinterest. I'll show you a couple of examples right here. And so I knew I wanted to do dark, moody colors for the winter. I didn't know if I was going to go with just jet black the way that I did, but I'm kind of glad I did. So I found some vintage floral curtains on Amazon, and that was what you saw before we ran the intro here, and that was my before. So I knew that when I chose those vintage floral curtains, they had like a rust and a green, and I thought, okay, I think I can work with that because that's very fall. You know what I mean? That's August, September, October. And I even thought going into winter with Christmas that would work as well. Because if you've noticed, a lot of trending or new modern things is these browns keep coming around. You've got your darker browns. Sometimes you have like a reddish brown tone. There's different names for those, but that's kind of, how the browns have transitioned. So when I chose the vintage floral, I knew I could use it for Christmas as well. And so I knew I was going to blend in some wood tones, and I knew the next step after the curtains was trying to figure out what kind of furniture to put in here and what color. So I decided to go with hunter green with my furniture. And I just thought green is really transitional, like you can use it for a lot of things, and it just goes really well. So I chose the black and the green were my foundation colors for winter and fall, or fall and winter, I should say. So we started with that, and I knew that I would stick to that. I knew that I thought, okay, I could work with this. I don't think I'll, get I don't think that'll get old to me or bored. You know, I think I can work with those baseline colors. So I did a solid velvet black curtain on one side of the wall, and I did the floral curtains against this wide wall. Now, in this house, the loft is probably about, I would say 18 feet across. It's pretty long. It's about 146 inches wide. So I don't know. I'm guessing in feet. Maybe that's a little steep for feet, but it really is at least 14 feet, I think, or it could be 16 feet, you know? And then the other wall across from it is a little bit shorter. It's more like 11 feet, I think, 11 and a half feet. So I have a shorter wall. This is the longest wall, and this one is also pretty long, but this one has only a portion of wall, and then it has a window. This one also has a window. That's where the brightness is coming from on the left side, your right. And so if I want to open it to get some sunlight, that's kind of how I'm doing the curtain situation. And that's nice also in the wintertime in this location for the rain, because this loft window faces the street, and it also faces some land that's in front of the window. So I knew I wanted something where everything would just be kind of pretty, you know? So with the shorter wall, that was about 10 feet. And so I knew that I would have to make it work in terms of colors. So that's where the black and the floral came in initially. I knew I wanted velvet, so I did that in this room. And then I've shared with you my vanity from TEMU. It's very small and very quaint. I love the vanity. I do switch out the hardware here and there because, you know, depending on what I'm doing with the room, I love switching out hardware. You can do that anywhere, you guys. You can do it on your dresser, in your kitchen. You know what I mean? You can do it on your vanity if you have one. You can do it on desk knobs. I just love the fact that we can play with hardware. So that really transitions the room as well. I also decided to put a very large arched mirror in here, and I knew that that would be a good transitional piece. I also got a 7.5 foot olive tree. Now the olive tree was kind of I don't know, it was kind of something I didn't know if would fit in the cottagecore kind of like style, but I figured, you know what, I'm just going to do it anyway. And I did, and I have 2 of those, and I got those from Amazon. I actually got 2 7.5 feet olive trees for about $80, which was good. And then my transitional pieces, which were the furniture I talked about, which was the hunter green. So winter, as you could see previously, was a good deal. And I knew that all the pieces that I chose to put in here, the vanity, the mirror, the lamps that you saw in that photo were, I actually got one of the lamps for super cheap, like only for like $20. But the second one, they sold out so quickly because that lamp was such a good deal. And I couldn't find it again. So I had to go to Wayfair. Girl, I ended up spending $65.99 on the second lamp, and it was identical. And actually the one that I got from Amazon for $20-something was much more flexible. It had so many more features, and I was like, this is crazy. So just make sure that you reference your cost before you actually hit the play button of purchasing things. I know the hunt can be kind of tedious for some of you, and you're like, I don't want to mess with that. I like convenience. But just make sure that you really pay attention, because you can get things for super cheap. I know most people, just don't care, but I do, because like I said, I'm not monetized here on YouTube, so everything I use, I want to last, and I want to maximize my dollar and stretch it out as long as I can. So that's kind of where I got the winter idea. So with the cottagecore, I knew I couldn't replicate it the way that I really wanted to, but with what I had, I thought I'm going to make the vibe in here as great as I could. And it actually worked out really well. The rust, the greens, the blacks. I did get a floral printed rug, as you saw in the beginning of the video. I'll even show it to you right here. As you can see, this rug was black. It had floral on it and some birds and things. But that was okay, because I got that rug only because it matched the room, but it also was only like $16 or something for a 5x7. So I got that, and I thought, that'll work. Now, when I wanted to transition the room into spring, and I started thinking about this after, like around Christmas time, I was like, I think I want to use an AI tool to see if I can, maybe land what I'm really thinking. So I used ChatGPT, and I uploaded some photos, as I've shown you in past videos, of what I wanted to do in terms of transitioning the room. So I knew I wanted to go light. And I knew I wanted to do a beige and a pink. I knew that. And I was like, I wonder how I can make this all work. The reason why it was so challenging for me in terms of decorating, because I don't decorate that often, is all the open space on the opposite side of the loft. Because the loft, if you think about it, is an open space room. And so the way this loft, it is pushed out into the corner, but at the same time, it's got a lot of open space on the the right side, your left. So that's where the stairwell is and the beginning of the hallway, and the laundry room faces the loft and everything. So if you've seen me make vlogs, you probably have seen that open space. I've talked about this very large wall we have across kitty corner from my loft that I never put any artwork on. The problem with this house, you guys, when I started to try to decorate it in a previous vlog channel I had, was it was so much wall space. It was like it already starting over from scratch, selling a home, moving into a rental, starting over with furniture pieces and all that stuff. It got really overwhelming for me because this was a new build, never lived in this kind of atmosphere before, and there was an enormous amount of wall space. And I know that there are ways you can do that. You can thrift and go find frames, and you can buy posters the way I'm doing them now. You can do all of that, but I was overwhelmed with the amount of wall space that was in this home. So when I started doing the loft, I knew that wall that I'm talking about across from me needed wall art, but I just never got around to it, to be honest, because frames were like $100 a piece, even though they were 6 for $100, which is really good, by the way. But we needed so many. We needed like 20. Easy. So I just never got around to decorating the hallway. I feel like if the hallway of where the loft is located would have been decorated as well, it would have felt like a more homier space. But in this little corner of the loft, I was like, well, how can I make this as cozy as possible? So I got these frames here, and I started using TEMU posters. Now the previous posters, I'll show you those now. I got some fall oriented posters for like $4.50. The shipping was free because they came directly from TEMU. So as you can see in this artwork, those were the pictures that I held from August of last year all the way up until just a few weeks ago here in March of 2026. So this room was really, I felt like it was a nice vibe. I mean, I am a kind of a messy person when it comes to my loft because I'm at my desk so much, and I eat up here, I hang up here, I'm a spiller girl. I'm telling you, right before I started this video, I even spilled on I don't know what is wrong with me, but I'm very clumsy. I'm klutzy. And so I try to keep this room as intact as I can, but I didn't know where to put my desk. Even when I first started up here, before all the curtains were up and everything, I didn't know where I wanted to put my desk. So I started out with the desk on this side, on the right side of me here, where you see some of the stuff that we're going to get into in just a second. And it worked for a while. It really did. And then I was like, well, if I do the office for spring, how can I switch it up? So I moved the desk over against the staircase. Now, what the smart thing, I feel like, I don't know, there's these gaps, in the stairwell, the posts, that go to the stairwell as you walk up. And I feel like in the next place, if that has that and it doesn't have like a solid wall, because I've noticed some of the lofts that we've been seeing have a solid wall into the loft. This one has like an open wood stake, you know what I mean? Like open space, I guess, for the stairwell. So it was very odd. It was just weird. It looks weird. So the best position for my desk was against this stairwell. So that's what we did, is we moved from the previous photo that you saw, which I probably already showed you a couple of times, is I moved the desk from the left wall to in front of the stairwell. Okay, so now let's get into the new spring 2026 layout we have here. Okay, so now that we're actually into spring of 2026, I knew I wanted to do light academia cottagecore, which is a style. I knew I couldn't land exactly what I saw in the photos, but I wanted to at least pick up the vibe of that, which is a lot of wood tones, a lot of naturals, neutrals, beiges, things like that. I knew I wanted an accent color, which was pink. I'm in a pink thing. I don't know what it is. I kind of go back and forth with pink, but I knew I wanted to do not pale pink, but I wanted to do a mauve because that's very vintage. I also like this color. If you see the color of her dress in or at least in this decal, I love the blue that they used here. So I think for 2027, I'm probably going to use more like a periwinkle, which is like a cross between lavender. It's like it has a gray base, but it has like a little bit of lavender, a little bit of blue, and then that gray sort of undertone. That's what periwinkle is usually. And so I really like that. But for 2026, we're doing mauves and pinks. So that is more of the real pink The problem with the mob that I was choosing was I didn't know how it would show on camera because obviously I film videos all the time. So what I did was I used an AI tool, which was ChatGPT. It's the first time I've ever used it for channel growth or for strategies or for decorating. So I asked ChatGPT, I was like, if I do the layout this way by uploading some photos from Pinterest and trying to ask it, I don't know why, I just felt like I needed to ask it, like what would look the best. I mean, I didn't have anybody else to ask, so I thought I'm going to ask ChatGPT what it thinks. And it kept saying to put the pink curtain as a base, so here, which is interesting because I didn't think it was going to do that. I thought it would do what I did, which was the beige. Now, I did try to put the beige, the pink curtain across the wall, okay, and I just felt like it was bringing off such a red tone in the video that I just was like, I don't know if I want that in every single video, because I just thought balancing the color would be like really challenging for me because I'm very fickle about my lighting, and I'm learning it. I'm not great at it. As you can see, even these new backgrounds that I'm doing in the last few videos, I have such a light background, and there's sunlight that comes in during the day. That's the reason why I don't film during the day, because with sunlight you have a lot of, if you don't have a gold tone, and this is sort of techniques you guys probably won't care about, but if you don't have a sepia gold tone to even out the white balance and gray that comes into the sun, you know what I mean, that comes into the camera, then it makes you look great and washed out, you know what I mean? And that's what if you'll see my new videos, I've got such a stark white background that now I'm having trouble balancing out that color. Luckily I'm olive, so it's not so hard in my opinion. That's how I feel. But I just kept kind of arguing with ChatGPT going, I don't think the pink curtain across the Great Wall would go. So it kept saying, trust me, but I was like, no, I don't think so. So I put the pink curtain on the shorter wall and put the beige curtain here, as you can see. And so I went ahead with that. I'm okay with it. It really is pretty, actually, when you step back and you take photos of this room. It really is beautiful. But I wonder what it would have been like if I would have listened to it and put the pink curtain across this wide wall. So I didn't do that. Now, one thing I did do as well, if you'll see, is I went ahead and transitioned from the green chairs to a cream ivory chair. Now when we moved in here, I did buy accent chairs. I did share that in a previous video. Now I have a brand new vlog channel. If you guys don't know, please support me over there. I'm brand new at 0 for 2026. I have a whole 6 subscribers. I get like 20 views on those videos too, but I'm very excited that I remade a new channel. So I did have a previous vlog channel, but I had a very horrible scam situation go on with that channel, and I was forced to delete it. There was just no other way to get out of it. My channel was at risk. Someone had offered me a service, and it just went south. So I ended up, it was just out of control in terms of like what that person did with my channel. So I was just like, oh my goodness. So I ended up having to start a brand new vlog channel. So if you guys want to support me, here's the vlog channel. Please check it out. Let me know if you like it. I'll be doing decluttering, cleaning, grocery hauls, everyday life. You know, I'm a homebody, so it's all about the homebody, you know, everyday mundane things, and hopefully you guys will find that interesting. But with that, I do have videos that I think I might re-upload to that channel of me building furniture and kind of playing with where I was going to position everything here. And I didn't know, you know, I really didn't know what would work. And another thing that I found really challenging with this room is that I didn't do bookshelves. Now, there is a window in the middle of this wall. I don't know if I mentioned that when I was explaining the winter part of this, but on each side of the wall, there was plenty of room to do like a library setting, like to do a vintage Victorian library nook setting. I could have done that. I could have did, 2 bookshelves on each side of the window, and it would have looked beautiful. Trust me, it would have done that. But I didn't do that. I wanted to go very, very inexpensive, and I didn't want to spend, really the bookshelves that I was looking at on TEMU, honestly, I'll link them below if you guys want to, check them out. Now, remember, TEMU took everything away from me. So TEMU, I had my storefront, you guys, in my account with TEMU for over 3 years. They just recently stripped me of everything. I don't know why they didn't tell me. I called TEMU. As a side note, I called them and I said, oh my goodness, what happened? They said that something about that I posted a video with the wrong code or something, so they penalized me for that and they took everything from me. So anything I mentioned to you guys now from TEMU, I'll have to just put the name of it in the description box for you. I don't think there's another way for me to link it for you anymore. So it looks like, to be honest, my TEMU storefront is still active, but I don't know how long that will last. So this bookshelf that I'm talking about, I'll put it in the storefront if it lets me, and you can just click on that link and see it. You don't have to buy it or anything, but I'm just trying to explain. There was an arched wood bookshelf that I was going to use on each side of this room for like a more library setting. really cool. But I just decided not to do that because I was like, well, curtains, girl, are $60, okay? And 2 bookshelves would have cost me $300. And although they would have been fine, I could have repurposed them, they would have lasted a long time. I just thought, well, everybody does bookshelves, you know? Like if you watch the majority of videos on YouTube, you'll see most people use bookshelves. And I was like, well, wait a minute, that's kind of, I want to be different. Do you know what I mean? I just kind of want to be different. So I came up with the velvet idea. I didn't originate that, but I came up with that idea and I was like, okay, I think I want to go with this. So as you can see, I'm struggling trying to get these curtains up. I'm a very short girl. I'm 5'3.5", and I was trying to get up on the ladder. Your girl's a little bit older, okay? Your girl is a little bit older, and I was not steady on my feet, and I'm a plus size girl to boot, okay? And why did I decide to get on that damn ladder in bare feet, okay? It's because I wasn't planning anything, girl. I was not planning. I did everything off the cuff. Every time I would sit on my desk chair and just look around, I'd be like, I think it's time. Do you know what I mean? Instead of planning out a whole thing and being careful and putting my tennis shoes on. No. Instead, I'm in my jams and I'm like, I'm going to get on the ladder at 12 o'clock at night. Why I did that, I don't know. But with that, I was like, should I use the green accent chairs? Shift gears here for a second. And I thought, well, you know what? Since I'm going with the light academia, I may as well just go get this ivory accent chair. I didn't buy a set of 2 on this one, and I should have, because the green ones that I bought a set of 2 for like $230 or something like that. And I knew they came in white, and I didn't buy 2. I should have, because we could have used them. We could have used them down in the living room. And instead I just bought 1, and that was a mistake. But what I did was I transitioned the green chairs for the cream chair. So now I just have 1 in here. It does look a little bit crowded. I felt like to put 2 in here, I felt like it would have been too much. So I just did 1 chair. I have a pedestal table that I got from Facebook Marketplace that's a wood, and it's got like the 3-prong legs, and it's got a lot of detail and stuff like that. I think it's like from the 70s or something, but I love it so much. And so I kept that. And then a lot of the other accent pieces I used here are from TEMU. This desk here that you see on the right-hand side is someone gave it to me. I was on Facebook Marketplace looking for free stuff, and some lady just had this desk, and I was like, oh my goodness, I want that. It's not the greatest desk. It's not the most prettiest desk, but it's perfect. I love it. And it has 3 little drawers in it. It was in perfect condition, and I couldn't pass it up. So I used this over here against this wall underneath the artwork for a coffee station. And I absolutely love this desk. And I knew I wanted to do some kind of coffee situation up here because when you live upstairs, it's like going upstairs, going downstairs, going upstairs, going downstairs. So I knew eventually with the loft that it would evolve over time, and I want a mini fridge in here. There's a lot of stuff that I want, not in this particular loft, but as I go along, there are things I want to build, like a break room type setting. And so I'm very excited to do that, and that is something that we will start talking about. One of the things I think I want to do is I may switch this desk out for like one of those little, like a buffet mini table, that has 2 cupboards, with drawers and stuff. So that way, if I do add some kind of a mini appliance, it's safe and off the ground. A lot of what I'm sharing with you today in terms of transitioning this room is that new rentals don't have wood floors. There are some lofts that we've seen with wood floors, but some do not come that way. And if it's carpet, I'm a bit nervous about putting a refrigerator. Obviously, I would buy one of those little plastic square things, like that goes under your washer. They sell those as well for like mini fridges and stuff in case they leak or something. So obviously that would be something I would use. But eventually in this office, I want to have some kind of a break room setting. So as far as the positioning of the room, I kind of wanted to make it a little bit different. So on the shorter wall with the mauve curtain, I put my vanity sort of close to the wall. I put the arched mirror, and then I added my olive tree here. And I like it. I think it's good. I did put a little lamp on top of the vanity just to add a little bit of character, flair, if you will. And then I added some of these small, quaint accent pieces I got from TEMU that I've been sharing with you lately, which is the some mini antique frames. Now, this vanity does not have a lot of room as well. Like, it doesn't have a lot of shelf space. It doesn't have a lot for you to, work with. So I needed very minimal stuff. So the stuff that I got from TEMU is very small. It's like not miniature, but it is pretty small. And so I knew that I wanted to get stuff like that, for this loft. Now, in the new house, I may transition the vanity into my room and then maybe do a different bit of a situation. But even if I decide to transition to bookshelves, I probably will still use velvet curtains. I really like the vibe of the velvet curtains. I like the vintage feel of the velvet curtains. So that is definitely something that I'm going to stick with. And then of course I did use my wood tone desk I got from TEMU, which I shared with you guys before. It's quite a large desk. And the thing about my desk is you really can't make my desk look pretty because I use multiple monitors on my desk, and one of the monitors is a TV. So it's really large. It's like a 44-inch TV. So with that, I just can't make my desk look beautiful like some of these office photos you see on Pinterest. My desk is pretty much full from left to right because of the size of monitors that I use. So the only thing I can really do in terms of dressing up my desk is just kind of make my mat look kind of pretty. I use multiple keyboards, multiple mouses, things like that. I put notebooks on my desk and stuff like that. So really my desk is kind of, as you're seeing it here, obviously you see it cleaned up and beautiful, or at least as pretty as I can make it. The one thing I didn't get for my monitors is the office container storage stuff, which I think I want to do in the next house, is kind of put my monitors up on something, prettier. I also have considered getting one of those racks to lift my monitors up. So I may do that, or I may just invest in maybe new computer monitors, because right now I'm using TVs for monitors, and we'll see what happens. But in terms of the transition of this room, I definitely wanted to keep the base of it as pretty as possible. So everything you see in this video as I've been speaking, I would say, you guys, the majority is from TEMU. Honestly, my rug was from Amazon. My table's from Facebook Marketplace. My curtains are from TEMU. Oh no, my curtains are from Amazon. A lot of the accent pieces I used in here are from TEMU. My vanity's from TEMU. My mirror is from Amazon. My plant is from Amazon. And then of course we have the star of the show, which is this thing. And this is something brand new that I just got like a couple weeks ago. I kept trying to ask myself, you guys, what can I do to this room to make it different? I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to get one of those mannequin style things. Now, I'm not going to leave her empty like that. Now, she does kind of look cool, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change my eras. So as I decorate and as I change things, I am going to put dresses on her. So I ordered a petticoat dress from TEMU for her, which is more of a, I was on the fence. I didn't know if I wanted to do 1940s or 1950s. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to start out with the 50s because I thought the petticoat flare dress would be really beautiful. It's summertime. So I did get one that's going to wrap around her neck, and look really pretty. I'm also going to put a necklace on her and everything. So stay tuned for that because I'll show you the touch-ups. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it before we leave. If they arrive in time, because TEMU does tend to take a little time for delivery, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in here before then, but definitely, I will definitely share that when it comes. So you guys, that is everything in terms of how we did our office makeover. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, if you want to see the knit and grit of me taking things down and putting them up, I'm sure I showed you snippets of that. Go ahead and check out the vlog channel because I actually break it down step by step of what I received, what I unpackaged, what I decided to use, what I decided to not use, and what I, kind of am putting away to see if I have a little bit more room in the new house. I still am on the fence, I do want to tell you guys, of getting bookshelves because I really think the bookshelves that I chose are really beautiful, and I'm thinking I really want that library vibe. I don't think I'm going to do any kind of corner anything. I don't like corner shelves. I don't like the way they just don't look right to me. Like, you know what I mean? If I did anything, even if I had a solid wall across here, I would do probably 3 or 4 small bookshelves. If I have a window in the next loft, it'll be a bookshelf on each side, but the velvet curtains will stay. So I will put the the bookshelves against the curtains and see what it looks like. Now, if it looks really off, I probably won't do that, but I feel like that'll give me a lot more, it'll give me more flexibility to use more decoration, which I love, because I love exploring TEMU and buying vintage pieces. So if you guys are interested in learning how to shop on TEMU more effectively, definitely stay tuned because I am going to be more doing lives and I'm going to share with you guys how to shop on TEMU. TEMU is one of those websites that is really difficult if you don't know what you're looking for. And it's one of those things where when you first go on the website, if you don't know the style or the genre kind of that you're looking for, it's just going to push what they think you like. And then as you start clicking on things, of course, it's going to recommend and send things to your email, or, sort of store things. The one thing about Temu is it has no save for later. It doesn't have that. So a lot of what you like, you have to put in your cart, and you kind of just have to wait until you are ready to buy it. And a lot of times they'll exhaust. They're almost timed out. So anything you store in your cart is like gets timed out. You know what I mean? And then you have to go and you have to update it, or you have to delete them because they don't stay or whatever. But regardless, Temu has some really amazing things. So if you like that vintage vibe, not a lot of people like that. So if you're more into modern, there is a way to shop on Temu for modern pieces as well. So, stick with me and I'll show you everything that Temu has to offer, especially when I buy the bookshelves, because I think you guys might get a lot out of that video as well. But as far as this room goes, I did use the pillowcases that I already had for the sake of this video, but I am going to be switching out the pillowcases, so definitely stay tuned for the new house when I make the tweaks, and you'll be able to definitely see. Go ahead and stay tuned right now, and I'll show you the room in its entirety. I really hope that you like what I did with the room. I hope that you like all of what you see. Let me know what your favorite thing is about the room. Let me know if you would have changed anything, what that would have been. I would love to hear your, tweaks. I'm open to, like other people's ideas, because sometimes, an extra set of eyes is always really useful. So let me know, because I'd love, maybe I'll tweak it. Maybe I'll do, maybe I'll add one of your ideas to the room as we move along and into the new place. So anyway, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you want to see the knit and grit and the real behind the scenes, all the pieces of what I did here and, putting things up and all that stuff that I didn't show you here, I will definitely share on the vlog channel. So if you want to see the behind the scenes of every increment of how I change this room, please make sure you subscribe. I'll also, I do post a community post every Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday when I post my vlogs. So if you guys are interested in that content, you can go to my community tab right now and look and see what those vlogs are like. And you can definitely see how I do things. So I really hope that you decide to subscribe and support me over there. Definitely like today's video if you like what I shared. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of this makeover, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, you all. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.